Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to my Let's Play of Remember 11, The Age of Infinity. I'm screwed up there. So we are in back in Sphera. That's the name of it. The facility for the mentally unstable. And had a bit of a funny scene there at the end. Bit of a shock. She wasn't expecting her extra baggage that she had. She lost some, but gained an extra package. Oh wow! Forget that joke there. All right. When I opened my eyes, I was looking at an unfamiliar ceiling. I had been sleeping in bed. My head hurt. I checked it right away and felt a bump. Moreover, what a horrible dream. Becoming a man, that doesn't happen outside of nightmares. Just then I sensed a person's presence right next to me. Their eyes staring this way. Rose with a start. The person down there was not Yomogi, nor Mayuzumi, nor Yuni. It was Inubushi Keiko. Jumped up in a panic. But Inubushi Keiko looked even more panicked than I was. Maybe she had been surprised when I suddenly jumped up, but her body shook so hard she fell from the chair she was sitting on. She looked at me with frightened eyes. She didn't look the least bit like a brutal murderer. Thanks to that, I relaxed and lowered my guard completely. Always a good thing to do when a brutal murderer is in the room. It seemed I had fallen into another dream. Fainting in a dream and then waking up in a dream is a strange feeling. Wasn't it Mario 2 that was that way? Or was that a comic I read of Mario 2? It's just been a comic book I read. How am I just suddenly remembering that I read that comic book? I'd forgotten that. I sighed deeply. Bowing slightly, Inubushi Keiko shook her head. Somehow she gave off a rather docile impression. She was completely different from what I had imagined after reading the file. Of course it was a dream after all. Inubushi Keiko stood up and walked over to the desk. Looked around the room. I had fainted in the bathroom and lost consciousness, it seemed. If they found something like that attached to the lower half of their body, I'm sure anyone would else faint too. Clinging to that small hope, I tried shifting my lower body. As I had thought, there was an incompatibility. It seemed I was still a guy. I was still a dude. It was a dream after all. I was having a dream where I was in Sphera. Did I say Sphera earlier? My bad. Sphera. No, it's Sphera. That's in Final Fantasy X, isn't it? Is that the name of the world in it? It's been a while since I played it. That was why it wasn't strange for Inubushi Keiko to be here. If it was a dream, then I would just have to defy it. That way, I would probably wake up. Inubushi Keiko turned to face me and hesitantly offered her hand. And it was a glass. It was full of water. Oh, thanks, Keiko. I thought it tasted more like Dr. Pepper. For a moment, I didn't know what she was doing. It seemed that she had brought some water for me, and even though I had noticed this, it took me a while to realize. I took it confused. Inubushi only nodded. I didn't know if she had slipped poison into the water she had brought me and was a little hesitant. But in the end, I drank it, because why not? It was a dream, so it didn't matter if there was poison in it. It was a dream. Let's down myself. Wow. The pain physics in this dream game is really awesome and real, huh? I seemed to be thirstier than I had expected. The water was delicious. Can water really... I'm not much of a water drinker. It's probably a really bad thing, but never cared for the taste of water. But can water actually be like, I mean, is it like flavored water or something? Inabushi quietly stared at me without breathing. She seemed to be looking at my complexion. When I called her, Inabushi shook her head. Inabushi looked around the room and picked up the notepad on top of the desk. She enthusiastically wrote something on it. Not long after, she hesitantly presented me with the notepad. I took it without quite understanding why. Not Inabushi, Hattori was what was written. Inabushi took back the notepad, this time ran the pen over it slightly rudely. My name is Suzukage Hattori. The girl nodded sharply. But I was sure I hadn't seen her name wrongly. This girl, she's Inabushi Keiko. Was she lying? If so, why? I observed the girl who had introduced herself as Hattori. The girl turned her eyes toward me. It didn't seem like she was lying. I guess split personality or something is what this is, right? They should get a couple of counts and be like, okay, Hattori, if you ever feel like you're not Hattori, take this hat off and put on this other hat so we can see who we're talking about. Then it occurred to me. This girl had DID, dissociative identity disorder. Said Inabushi Keiko, there were multiple personalities. In other words, Suzukage Hattori was a separate personality of Inabushi Keiko. Okay, I thought I remembered that right. She read this. Excuse me. She read this file earlier on, didn't she? Furthermore, it was possible that whenever she became Suzukage Hattori, she suffered a temporary loss of speech. If aphasia was a mental problem, then Inabushi Keiko being able to talk while Suzukage Hattori couldn't was very possible. Oh, okay. Another possibility was that the main personality, Inabushi Keiko, had become unable to talk for some reason. In the meanwhile, I decided to go along with her. Didn't matter how many times I tried saying, "You are Inabushi Keiko" to her, as the Hattori personality probably didn't even know her. I don't know her, yeah. We don't meet up very often. It's kind of hard when we're in the same body. It had been established that in the case of a person with multiple personalities, different authors were not conscious of each other. No matter how one might try to explain it, it would probably be useless. Here's an interesting idea. What if somebody actually did try to do something like that? They're like trying to communicate with themselves or something. They like do kind of like this right here, have a webcam or any sort of camera, and be like, "Yeah, I'm so and so," and put it there on the computer, on the phone. Then when they switch personalities, they'll look at it and be like, "Well, crap. Hey, Keiko, this is Hattori. Hi. I like this stuff." I actually accidentally spit there. Then when they switch back and then go back, then there'll be like a response there. Seems like that could actually be. That could be either a good idea or not a good idea. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that would be a good idea. I'm sure there's some sort of plot you could put with it, though, why somebody would need to do something like that. Maybe like Ocean's 11, only 11 in one rather than 11 different people. In one personality, they're good at something, and then another personality, they're good at another thing. You know, like they can smooth talk one of them's get smooth talking their way past the guard, and then the other's, really agile or something. Just throwing ideas out there. Don't know why, because this is not really that related to the Let's Play, so I'm going to move on. I'm sure there's good ideas there to do with that. I felt a little sorry for her. It's possible she was suffering in her own way too. No, wait. This was something from inside my dream. It was not certain that the real Inubushi Keiko had another personality named Suzukage Hattori within her. Guess this is just a dream I'm having. It was only a dream, so it shouldn't be impossible for anything to happen. Try to talk as gently as possible. Girl blinked in surprise and answered my call. Even if it was an absurd dream, it originated from the experiences. My voice there. From the experiences and observations in my own brain's memory. In other words, even if they were unconscious, they were things I knew. They were things I had experienced in the past, that even if I didn't remember them. Before uni, the uni that was Fia, that is, had called me Satoru. Had I met a man named Satoru in the past? I shouldn't know anyone named Satoru well enough to see them in my dreams. Hattori tilted her head. She probably didn't know. She didn't really talk very good today, I don't know why. At a loss, I put my hand to my face, and a dull pain ran through my head as I touched the bump at the back of it. Hattori quickly got up from my bedside to pick up a wet towel. She gently placed it under my head. It was pleasantly cool, the pain receded. Thanks, Hattori, for putting it behind my head rather than right before it, and then slowly smothering the life out of me. Hattori nodded sharply, expressionlessly. This time, the brown-skinned woman entered the room. She saw me being nursed by Hattori and laughed gently. Sure, the surprise you found. I'm sure there wouldn't be anything awkward happen then. Okay, she probably found that surprise then. The woman's smile became strange for just a moment. I became aghast. As she mentioned it, I had certainly fainted it in an extremely embarrassing position. No, the body itself isn't mine. Apologized by reflex. The woman was wrapped in a kind atmosphere that seemed to be able to forgive anything. Now that I thought about it, I still hadn't heard her name. The woman's expression became a little tenser. That is a strange reaction. What does I see mean, I wondered. However, the woman changed back to her radiant attitude at once. Oh, I bet she has told Satoru her name, but not Kokoro. Okay, Kali, okay. Nice to actually have a name for her. I was wondering if she was half Japanese after all. A name I had never heard before. One more people I didn't know appearing, even though it was my dream. It is weird when people show up in your dreams that you know but haven't known in like years. That's really weird. I've had a dream where people from high school was in it that I haven't even seen in like 8, 9, 10 years. So that's always weird when that happens. It's just like the brain takes like here's a little bit of information. You know, here's another bit of information, and just sprinkle it together and be like, there's a dream. My dreams get a pretty gargled, I guess you could say. Like fighting orcs in a movie theater on horseback. I did have a dream like that. Apparently the orc was very, very powerful because he just put his hand out on the horse, and the horse was just running in place. My dreams also have cartoon physics too. Assuming he bent down and glanced at my feet. Feet? What? What? She? Her eyes were fixed, looking straight at me. Why'd I say feet?
落ち着いて聞いてね。何？あなたは DID よ。わかる？乖離性知ってます。
I see. It's obvious to think that.
冬川心さんであると同時に有機堂悟さん。もういいですってば。
Interrupting Utsumi's words, I got up from my bed. I had DID. That's what I was thinking from the last one. Maybe actually it's a red herring. Maybe that is a red herring. Maybe they're not really two people. They are multiple people. Because that would, I mean, that... Of course, it's kind of funny at the moment. I'm kind of going against what people are saying because that's kind of the obvious thing to do in a story like this. Maybe that's the trick. Maybe they are telling the truth and you're expecting a twist that don't happen. And they just explain it better of how it came to be. I don't know really what's going on, so yes, that might have been true. Thing is how, even though I was a woman, I had a man's body. Something like that didn't matter. This was a dream, so having DID was a big deal. Yeah, I suffered many things in my dreams from all sorts of mental illnesses that have scientific mission statements. Just throwing words out there. I like how she's like, oh yeah, it's just a dream. It's cool I have a mental disorder. Yeah, cool. Can I have a little bit of schizophrenia to go along with my DID? Well, while I'm dreaming, I'm gonna be waking up sometime soon, so we need to cram as much into this dream as possible. Maybe some pyromania too. Got matches? Anybody got matches? It's probably because I was unconsciously thinking about Inabushi Keiko. Now I thought about it before I got onto the plane that crashed. I remembered being really nervous. Nervousness over interviewing a murderous monster, such a rare and horrific killer, had burned itself into my brain, and thus I had a dream like this. This time it was Uni who entered the room. After seeing me, he called me Satoru without hesitation. Yukido Satoru was mistakenly called that even at the shelter cabin. Uni hesitantly looked up at me. It was probably because I scared him earlier. No, she probably doesn't have DID now to think about it, because I have to look back at it, but I remember they cut away earlier while she was in the plane, and the guy was there at Spia. Yeah. But then again, maybe she was suffering from it before the plane crash. I don't know. Maybe she's Keiko. Who knows? I want to say the same thing right back at him. He didn't look so good. His face was awfully pale. Let out a sigh. Explained that was Fuyukawa Kokoro yet again was a bother. He wouldn't believe me anyway. I have DID after all. It was a dream, so who I was didn't matter. My head was throbbing again a little. Was this pain a dream too? Even though the feeling was so clear, thinking that way, I got a little scared. This is really a dream, isn't it? Eyes met Hattori's. DID. There was a possibility that I really had DID. In that case, it would explain why I was at Spia as if it were natural. It also explain that attitude Utsumi and the rest had taken toward me. This dream, this institute, Inabushi and Utsumi, they're all too real. Were dreams this vivid even possible? Lucid dream? My head hurts. Let us find out what lucid dream means. When one is dreaming, yet at the same time conscious of the fact that he or she is currently dreaming, it can also refer to the technique of entering such a dream. It is said that those who are having lucid dreams realize that they are in a dream and are able to direct the continuation of the dream according to their own will. I don't think I've ever done that. Yeah, I don't think I've ever... Maybe once. But it's not something that... I guess I'm too crazy to do it. Seems like there was one time that I kind of knew I was dreaming it. Then again, maybe there's a difference between knowing that you're dreaming and then having an effect in your dream and realize you're dreaming and be like, whoa, abort. Because I know I'm pretty sure I've realized I was dreaming and be like, that was weird. I know I've woken myself up on purpose, but I don't know if I've ever actually affected the dream itself. I'm confused again, as I'm sure people who listen to all that are. For the sake of argument, if this is a dream, where is the real me right now? Maybe a plane accident was a dream as well. I think that part's real. Certainly got into an airplane accident, and right now I should be sleeping in a shelter cabin on a snowy mountain. But that newspaper, in reality, there's no explanation for it. Just what was that? Yeah, that right there is really hard to explain, because there's no logical way that newspaper could be there, unless you involve time travel or insanity or a setup, replicate events or something, or well, not replicate events, but create events that haven't happened. So, and there's ways to explain it, but I don't know how that would be. This is reality, and the shelter cabin is a dream. It's possible to think that too. Is my real body a boy's? Which would mean that I was a boy originally. Meaning that the personality of the woman called Fuyukawa Kokoro was born inside and only existed in the man named Yukido Satoru. No matter how much I think, I can't understand any of this. I don't want to think about anything anymore. So if this is a dream, I want to hurry and wake up. Wake up! Staggering, I left the room. Oddly, I slapped myself. Left the wide central room. I exited into the kitchen. Thinking to calm down on the sofa, I headed toward the inner living room area. Otori was standing right behind me. Even though I said I wanted to be alone, it seemed she'd follow me. Otori saw me jump back and tilted her neck. I wonder if she's doing it on purpose. I wonder if she's trying to make fun of me. It's impossible to rest like this. Having no other options, I decided to explore this institution. Moving to and fro, I finished walking around without thinking about anything. That being said, I had already gone over the inside of the institute once before. Now then, what should I do? It seems that the only remaining places to check out are two of the 4 doors in this room. This place isn't very big, is it? You'd think a big institute would be bigger than this. As I face away from the main entrance, there are 2 inner rooms. I investigated the room on the left-hand side. Otori didn't follow me. My gait slightly unsure, I walked in the direction of the living area. The light in the room was already on. The structure of the room looked exactly the same as the two rooms I had seen earlier. I didn't feel anyone's presence. The inside was silence. Silent! Several articles of women's clothing had been left spread across the bed. They'd probably get wrinkled if they were left like that. There's a very private atmosphere, somehow. In other words, the 4 rooms at the corners of this institution are for private use, which means that in this building there are at least 4 private rooms. Each room there is a single bed. The number of people this institute can accommodate is 4, is what it means. Makes sense. That is really small. I guess it would be good. I mean, kind of want overcrowding and stuff, you know. If somebody, well, the scale of the building itself is quite large, so it's surprising the number of people it accommodates to so few. Yeah, from what I remember, the shots I've seen did look pretty big of it. Also, this institution doesn't seem to hold the presence of many people either. Haven't met anyone in Sphia besides those 3. Other people involved with Sphia, the doctors and the nurses, for example, where were they and what were they doing? Perhaps the extra people didn't appear because it was a dream. Or is there an unusual situation happening? Shook my head a little. I'm just going around in circles. I left the room. Utsumi and Yuni were in the kitchen drinking tea. Kotori wasn't in the living area. She had disappeared through one of the 4 doors. The last remaining door. Or could it be possible that that room belongs to Hattori herself? Since I didn't have anywhere else to go, I thought I'd take a little peek. Casually, I followed after Hattori. Just as I expected, this room had the same layout as the other 3. The only thing different is that this room didn't have the feeling that it was being lived in. Also, the sheets on the bed were in disarray. There wasn't anything else. Top of the desk was bare, and there weren't any changes of clothes to be found. In the first place, there wasn't any human warmth. A cold, dreary atmosphere enfolded the room. What does Hattori and Nobushi Keiko think about while living in this room of hers? Hattori herself wasn't in the room. Just where did she go? Just as the sound came from the bathroom. Wondering what it was, I peeked inside. Seems like there might be something crazy and insane about to happen. So we're going to hold off till the next episode. Gonna have to find out what's going to go down. Yeah, I get the feeling that, I don't know, maybe it's an incorrect feeling, but I get the feeling that something big is fixing to happen. Maybe not big, but information, something like that. I feel like this will be a scene, so I will see you guys in the next one. Farewell there, folks.